Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I'm going to be working on the shroud for the Sportfisher today, and hopefully we'll get that done and ready to go back on the motor. One way or the other, it's going to go back on the motor. Being retired is a nice thing. I get a chance to do most of the things that I want to do. Things that I've been holding off on doing because I didn't have time or was working too much. But there are some things that come up. Minor. Most people's lives would just be little things. But since this is the only thing I'm doing, it becomes a major problem. At least a major annoyance. You have to have insurance anymore. You know, everybody's got health insurance, life insurance, insurance on your car, insurance on your house. Because the price of things has just gone right out through the roof. I understand there are a multitude of reasons for all that to happen. I think the major reason we need insurance is because we have insurance. Insurance companies pay. That's their big thing. They pay off all your bills. You pay them, and then if you have a problem, they pay whoever you have to have fix it. If it's your house, they pay the carpenter and the plumber and the electrician and the carpet cleaner and all the other things that you need to recover from whatever happened. And that's good. You know, it's a nice thing to have. You're paying hoping that you never use it. They're paying hoping that you never use it. It's kind of a sucker bet. You pay with the idea that eventually something's going to happen and you're going to have to come up with some money that you don't have. Well, part of the problem is the cost of everything has gone right out through the roof. So normally your day-to-day income can't cover the cost. And that's because the people who are doing the work get paid by the insurance company no matter what. One way or the other, the people doing the work, the doctor, the nurse, the hospital, the automobile repair shop, the carpenter, the plumber, the electrician. They all get paid by the insurance company. And the insurance company doesn't really care how much they pay, despite despite all the yelling and screaming that they do about, well, that's going to cost too much, and you got to go with a lower priced option. And, oh my God, we're going to go out of business if we have to cover this debt. Yeah, State Farm is famous for that. It seems like every time Florida has a hurricane, State Farm wants to raise the prices for everybody in the United States. And I understand the reason for it. I understand why they do it. It doesn't make it so that I agree with it. They do it because they can. Also, the idea of an insurance plan is everybody pays all the time and a few people get paid. So they're hoping that you will pay them your premiums and never need the service. And you're hoping that you pay them their premiums and never need the service. Kind of a silly thing, isn't it? You're buying something you don't want under the idea that if you don't have it, you're going to need it. Oh well, doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is. Well, they also have found that people have figured out ways around things, and they have figured out ways to defraud insurance companies. Now, since the insurance company is selling you something you don't want and hope you never need, but you're afraid if you don't have it, since the insurance company's been paying everybody so much money, the prices have gone up, you can't afford to buy it. You can't afford to pay for the work to be done without insurance. So insurance has figured out a way to make it so that you have to have them. Not only that, if you have a house and you have a mortgage on the house, the bank says you have to have insurance on your house. Not to protect you. The bank really doesn't care. You know, if you go bankrupt, well, okay, that's too bad, they get the house. If you don't make your payments, well, too bad, they get the house. If the house burns down, the insurance company pays the bank first. They pay off the mortgage. They don't give you the money and say, well, you can pay off the mortgage or not. They pay the bank. Unless you have a specific program designed to foil that, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of people at the bank working night and day to make sure that you don't get that kind of a policy. They want it so that the bank gets paid. And that's a two-edged sword because I have money in the bank. My bank account, which I have a savings account and an IRA and a checking account and credit card and all the normal things that everybody in 2021 has to have just to survive. If the bank loses money, I don't get interest on the money that I have in my IRA. I don't get interest on the money that I have in my savings account. And I even have a checking account that gives me interest. That's one of those crazy things that the bank says, okay, if you have a checking account with us, we will let you have a premium. What it amounts to is they charge you for the checking account to cover the cost of somebody standing there and accepting your money and putting it in the bank, in the bank vault, saying, okay, we've got it, it's covered. Not everybody knows this, and if you do, okay, that's fine. I'm just telling you something you already know. But banks get paid for the money that they have on account. And how do they do that? Well, they loan it out. That's the whole point of the bank, is they take your money that you put in the savings account, and the bank says, okay, in my case, David Nicewonder has $500 in the bank. We can make a loan out up to the point where David usually pulls money out of the account. Well, David hasn't pulled any money out of that account in 10 years. Don't need to. It's just sitting there. it's that rainy day fund. And through various algorithms, wonderful word, various ways of thinking through things, they say, okay, the likelihood of David needing to draw the money out of the bank is pretty low. So we'll loan out David's $500. And someone will give us 6% interest, or 10, or 25. Used to be you couldn't go above 20. Now they've changed the laws so that you can go higher because, banks. Also, seems like congressmen have a nefarious, I can't say nefarious, that would imply that it was criminal. They have a working relationship with banks. Banks loan them money for their campaigns or just plain donate it to them with the idea that the congressman or senator or dog catcher, whatever political official, public official, elected person does will benefit the bank. So anyways, this morning I was involved in a series of conversations and phone calls with our insurer, with the idea being that I want to make sure that I have a record of what that says on there, because I'm going to put a label back on that. It has choke and run. Now that's pretty obvious, but it's better to have a label there. That way if somebody is trying to start the motor and they're not familiar with it, they know that they have to put it on choke, and then when it starts they put it over on run. Because I'm getting ready to paint this. Anyways, back to the insurance. The insurance company that we are transferring our insurance to now that I'm retired, and since Obamacare came through and they have figured out a way to get the banker and the politician and everybody came up with a way for everybody to be happy. They make money, we pay money, life is good according to them. Anyways, to change the insurance, I had to call my insurance company and say, I need to get a letter from you verifying that I've had insurance with you. Now, I've got a card, and if something happens, I'm supposed to use the numbers on that card to call and tell them this has happened. And whoever is doing whatever work for me, whether it's a surgeon or a carpenter, is given that information, and they submit a bill to the insurance company. Not to me, because nobody expects me to pay anything. They just figure the insurance company's going to pay it because, they get paid. So I will never know how much it actually costs. Oh, I'll get a letter saying, okay, the insurance company paid everything but this, and you owe the rest. The owe the rest is the part that I'm supposed to be interested in. I'm supposed to make that payment just as soon as possible. Now, the insurance company may take months, years even, to settle the bill. But I got just a very short period of time. Otherwise, the insurance company says, you don't have insurance. And then the bank says, oh, you don't have insurance, then we can't. We're going to default. We're going to claim that your mortgage is in default because you didn't cover all the things that you're required to do, and we're going to take your house. We're going to evict you, and homeless people can move into your house because we can't do anything about that, and you can sit on the curb and the homeless people can stay in your house, See how this goes. Now, doesn't it sound kind of stupid? Sure does to me. As we go along, happily trying to make a living through the world. Oh, by the way, this paint stick is not just a piece of wood. This is a paint stick that doesn't have any sandpaper on it. This is a paint stick with sandpaper on it. That's why I'm rubbing this with a paint stick. Otherwise it'd just be, okay, the guy's nuts and he's sitting in his basement rambling on about silly things and rubbing a piece of plastic with a stick. Nope, I'm sanding it. Because I did all kind of patches on the front of it, and I want to have those patches so that they don't show up as patches. Kind of funny, this is a Sportfisher motor. And there's a Sportfisher boat. Whenever I tried to find out anything about the motor, I got information on the boat instead. I guess the boat is newer and has a better marketing department. And since this motor is old and people don't buy them new anymore, at least not this particular motor, it's no longer being made. Trying to find parts for it is a bit difficult. Really wish they hadn't put this decal on the side, because it's kind of a mess to try and get off. So anyways, getting back to the insurance. I had to call and request a letter saying that I had insurance with them. So that my new insurance company says, oh, well, he has had insurance in the past, therefore he's a good risk to have insurance. Because if I couldn't show that, it was going to cost me more. See how they get you? You either have the insurance, or we're going to make you suffer. What was that the guy said on the TV the other day? Oh yeah, you either get this or you pay the price. Yeah. Politicians, banks, insurance companies have a lot in common with a diaper. You've always heard that phrase connected with other people, but you know, they're a lot like a diaper. They're on your butt all the time and they're full of crap. Up to this point, I haven't needed a diaper for 60-70 years. I like to think it's longer than that, but I don't know. I wasn't aware of anything before I was 3. I'm sure things happened, and other people tell me they remember things from when they were 1. But anything before 3, just don't have anything to go by. I mean, there's nothing attached to it in my little brain pan. It shows up as empty, non-existent. It seems to be working pretty good getting this decal off. Good sharp wood chisel. Now I'm sure the motor would run just fine with scabby looking decal on the side of it. This has nothing to do with the operation of the engine. But if you're working on something, you should do as good a job as you possibly can. So that's what I'm trying to do. It looks like this was painted. And then the decal was applied over the top of it. I'm going to take some sandpaper and see if I can't scuff up that paint. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching. This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the US or 16 in the European Union, without the express written permission of the parents or legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.